Anna flips the open sign in the window at 6:15 every morning, the same hand-painted sign her father made the week they opened, red letters slightly crooked because he'd never painted a sign before in his life, and never once let anyone repaint it straighter in 30 years. This particular morning, a certified letter is waiting in the mailbox first, before the coffee's even finished brewing. It's from a lawyer. Her brother's lawyer. Think about the one thing in your family that everyone agrees is the proof it was all worth it. Now imagine that exact thing becoming the reason nobody can agree on anything else. Rosa and Hector came to this country with 2 suitcases and $41 between them, and a corner lot nobody else wanted because the previous business had failed there twice. 30 years later, the little market they built put both their kids through college, put a roof over 4 generations, and made the family, for the first time in its history, comfortably middle class. Regulars called it Rosa's even though her name was never on the sign. They believed the hardest part was already behind them. Here's the part almost no immigrant family business ever plans for early enough: success doesn't resolve family tension. It just raises the amount of money attached to whatever tension was already there. Anna worked the register at 14, stocking shelves before homework. Ran the store alone by 26, while her father's knees gave out and her mother's eyes started to go, learning the wholesale accounts, the payroll, the health inspections, one exhausting year at a time, mostly by herself. David left for college at 18 and never came back to live in that neighborhood again, built a career 2 states away, sent a card every Christmas with real affection in it, and genuinely never once resented the store, exactly, from a comfortable distance. When Hector passed, his will left the business to both kids, equally. 50-50. To be fair, the lawyer explained, reading from a document Hector had signed with the best intentions a father ever had, years earlier, back when fair still seemed like the obvious answer. Fair, on paper, and completely unworkable in practice. One sibling had given the store 30 years of 6 a.m. mornings. The other had given it a Christmas card and an equal legal claim to sell it out from under her. Ask yourself honestly, if you'd spent a decade running something alone, would equal still feel fair to you, even from someone you loved? The letter in Anna's mailbox wasn't cruelty. It was David's attorney, formally proposing what David had already said gently on the phone twice: a real estate group wanted the corner lot, cash, more money than either of them would make running the store another 20 years combined. Here's what almost nobody outside that family knew, the piece that would have changed how this whole story felt from the very first letter: David wasn't chasing a windfall. His youngest, Sophia, had just been diagnosed with a condition insurance barely covered, an out-of-pocket number climbing past $40,000 a year with no ceiling in sight, a specialist 2 hours away, a second mortgage already taken quietly against his own house 6 months earlier just to cover the first round of bills. He hadn't told Anna any of it. Some pain feels too much like admitting failure to say out loud to a sister who never left, who might just hear, and even now, after everything, you need something from the store. Picture him at his own kitchen table, 2 states away, alone after Sophia was finally asleep, running the same math over and over on the back of an envelope, the numbers refusing to change no matter how many times he added them. His wife found him there once, past midnight, and he didn't tell her what he was calculating either. He just said he couldn't sleep. That was true. It just wasn't the whole truth. He drafted 3 different texts to Anna that month and deleted all of them before sending. The 4th time, he called his lawyer instead, because a formal letter felt, somehow, easier to survive than his sister's actual voice asking why. That's the scene nobody watching this family from the outside ever got to see. Not a brother chasing a payout. A father, alone at a kitchen table 2 states away, doing math that never once came out kind, trying to find any other way to ask for help that didn't sound exactly like betrayal. Anna found out the real reason by accident from their mother, 3 weeks into a silence between the siblings that neither one had actually chosen on purpose, both of them assuming the other was the one being unreasonable. She drove 2 states to see him that same weekend. Not to fight. She realized, somewhere on that drive, staring at 6 hours of highway, that she'd been so certain David wanted to erase what their parents built that she'd never once actually asked him what he needed, or why. "Why didn't you just tell me?" she asked, sitting in his kitchen instead of hers for once, the same kitchen where he'd done the math alone at midnight. "Because you gave it 30 years, David said, not looking up right away. And I was about to ask you to hand me half the value of your life's work because my kid's insurance company said no. I didn't know how to ask for that and still look you in the eye across a holiday table. Neither one of them was wrong. That's the part worth sitting with." Anna's claim to the store was real, earned in a way no document could fully capture. David's need for the money was just as real, and just as unearned by anything he'd done wrong. The will had made them equal owners of something that could only ever have one final answer, and left them to discover that the hard way, alone, in 2 separate kitchens, months apart. They sold it, in the end. Anna couldn't raise enough to buy David out alone, and David's need wasn't the kind that could wait for a 5-year payment plan. The corner lot is a pharmacy now. This is exactly where a succession plan, made years earlier while Hector was still healthy, could have changed everything about how this played out. Not by preventing David's need, or Anna's claim. By naming, in advance, while nobody was cornered yet, what fair would actually mean in practice, an option for one sibling to buy out the other over time at an appraised price, funded partly by a policy on the parents' own lives, decided calmly at a kitchen table years before any lawyer's letter ever needed to exist. Equal and workable are not always the same word, and almost no family finds that out until the will's already been read out loud. But something survived that the will never accounted for at all. Anna kept the hand-painted open sign, the crooked red letters, hanging now in her own kitchen instead of a storefront window. Not as a monument to what was lost. As proof of what the 2 of them chose, once they finally told each other the truth, over the building, the moment they actually had the chance to choose. Here's the sentence worth carrying out of this video: a business can absolutely lift a family into a better life. It was never built to also settle what fair means between 2 people who love each other and need completely different things. Only a plan made in advance, while everyone's still healthy and nobody's cornered yet, can actually do that. Rosa still has the store's old cash register in her living room. Doesn't plug it in. Just dusts it, some mornings, the same 6:15 habit her husband kept for 30 years, in a home instead of a storefront now, the drawer permanently open, permanently empty, and somehow still the truest thing left of everything he built.